Hey, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, books, movies, anime, TV shows, and kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. But before we get into today's video, I am a part of Amazon's influencer program. So if you click the link in the pinned comment below, it'll take you over to my Amazon storefront where you can shop all of my favorite things. So if you want to do a little shopping while also supporting me, click the link in the pinned comment below. And today we are talking about a new Netflix original series, Heartstopper. Heartstopper is actually based on a webtoon of the same name by Alice Osman. The webtoon is actually still updating with new chapters every week, so if you would like to read Heartstoppers, check out Webtoons Tapas, or you could actually buy the physical books at your local Barnes & Noble, and I think also on Amazon. One thing I find very interesting is that Heartstopper is not an original on Webtoons or Tapas, which that basically means that like you're getting paid per chapter. Heartstopper is not, like they're not part of that program, but they were still able to be turned into a show on Netflix, which I find really amazing. So the synopsis for the webtoon reads: Charlie, a high-strung, openly gay overthinker, and Nick, a cheerful, soft-hearted rugby player, meet at a British all-boys grammar school. Friendship blooms quickly, but could there be something more? I feel like that description also very much so encompasses the Netflix series as well. I do feel like the Netflix series does a really good job of keeping in line with the webtoon, but we will be getting into that more later on in the video. So the show takes place in two places: Truman, the all-boys school, and Higgins, the all-girls school. They're pretty much like brother and sister schools. They share a lot of events together. Their orchestras play together. They have like a field day together. So the two schools are intertwined. Our main characters for the series are Charlie Spring and Nick Nelson. Charlie is in year 10 and Nick is in year 11. So the first episode opens and we are following Charlie on his first day of year 10. Very quickly we find out Charlie is in a relationship with a year 11 boy named Ben. I'm putting quotes around the word relationship because Ben is very obviously using Charlie. Charlie is openly gay and Ben is deep in the closet. And their entire relationship is on Ben's terms. They only meet up when Ben wants to meet up, and they like make out. And then when Charlie tries to be like, oh, you're my boyfriend, Ben shut that down quickly. Okay, quickly. Also, when they're in school, Ben pretends like he does not know who Charlie is because he thinks if there's any like connection between the two, everyone's gonna think he's also gay. It's just a really toxic and nasty place to be for Charlie. Through the series, we find out that Charlie was actually outed last year. We don't really know how or why it happened. We just know that he was outed, and then that led to heavy bullying for the rest of that school year. Now, thankfully, Charlie wakes up one day and decides that he deserves better and actually does break things off with Nick. I was kind of nervous that Netflix was gonna have him do this, but then run back to Nick, because you know, Netflix be doing too much sometimes. But I'm very happy to see that he put his foot down and he kept his foot down. And throughout the series, Ben does not take it well. When they initially broke up, because like, is it really breaking up if you were never actually in a relationship? But when Charlie called it off, like, Ben got real nasty and tried to force himself on Charlie, and that's when my boy, the human Labrador himself, Nick, comes through and throws Ben off him and is like, if I see you around him again, I will beat you up. I love to see it. But throughout the series, there's going to be multiple other like confrontations with Charlie and Ben, because for someone who swears he's not gay, taking this breakup really hard, at one point they had this huge blow up. And like Ben's like, I was only with you because I felt bad. And it's like, you put your tongue in people's mouths because you feel bad for them? Now I gotta wonder what you do when someone's grandma dies. Like, if you kissing somebody for that, what are you doing when other serious things happen? Okay. Speaking of Nick Nelson is in year 11 and he is a star rugby player and is a literal angel. When I say Nick, is just so precious and so sweet. The best boy to ever do it. Now, Charlie and Nick meet in what I'd assume is like the British version of homeroom. They are actually like seat partners. They sit right next to each other, and it starts off with them like having these cute little high moments like throughout the day and around school. That's super super sweet, and they very quickly become really good friends to the point that like Charlie actually ends up joining the rugby team because Nick's like, you would be so good at it, we really need you, and they really grow an amazing friendship. Now, Nick is super popular, which actually does end up being a problem for Charlie because unfortunately there are a lot of popular kids who are dickheads. Let's be honest. Nick's that popular kid that's popular because everyone likes him. And he's super nice and he's super sweet. He doesn't really bother anybody. He's just a genuinely nice person. And because of their nice personality, they're popular. And because he plays rugby. But because of that, he's friends with some people that are not nice people and that are bullies and do bully Charlie but act like they're not bullying Charlie, and it's like, oh, we're just teasing. Homophobia ain't teasing, but okay. Like, Nick very much so means well, but I don't think he fully understands the fact that like just because your friends are nice to you doesn't mean they're nice people, because a lot of his friends are bullies, and we will see that progress throughout the series. But as Nick grows closer with Charlie, he does start to realize how much his friends actually suck and how much of bullies and nasty people they are, which I hate that it took him being friends with someone else to realize that, but you know what, better late than never. He is realizing my friends are not good people, and I don't know why they're friends. And I do think the only reason why he's friends with them is because they're popular and he's popular, and that's just kind of what happens. But I do enjoy the fact that Nick is starting to realize his friends are not good people, and he starts to try to, speak up, but he ain't putting enough bass in his voice. He ain't really getting these people ass enough to make them stop, and that's Nick's problem, because you can tell like he really doesn't like confrontation. We see that change towards the end when he gotta do what he needs to do, but normally Nick really doesn't like to ruffle feathers. Another thing that Nick realizes throughout the show is maybe he's not as straight as he thought he was. And so from that point forward, we get this little like awkward dance between Charlie and Nick, because all of Charlie's friends are like, Nick is the straightest boy we have ever met. Don't waste your time. So like Charlie is feeling like he's getting mixed signals because like his friends are like, Nick is straight. Don't fool yourself, he's straight. But then he's having these moments with Nick that don't feel like bro shit, you know what I mean? And then you got Nick, who is having a gay panic, and I love a good gay panic. It's my favorite thing. And he is spiraling. Like, you can tell that like this relationship is drumming up feelings that he's never felt before, specifically for a boy. And oh, he's struggling. He's struggling very hard. Now, at one point during the series, he kind of comes to realization that like he really likes Charlie and he wants there to be something between them. So they have a situation that is kind of similar to what Charlie had with Ben. But unlike Ben, Nick's not a dickhead. And he very much so does take Charlie's feelings into consideration, and he just wants Charlie to know that he's not using him, but that he's not ready. And Charlie is a very nice person, because you know what? I think it's fair for somebody who is out of the closet to not want to date someone that is in the closet. The same way I think it's fair for someone in the closet doesn't want to be outed because they're dating someone who's out. I think both sides are very valid in their feelings and their reasons. And I do understand why an out person would not want to date a person that's in the closet. But Charlie is like, being out is horrible in high school, because it is. When you have a school full of bullies and nasty people, it is hell. And he doesn't want Nick to go through that because he really does like Nick. So he's willing to have their relationship be a secret outside of Charlie's friends. Charlie's friends know, except for one, and we'll get into that. And you can just tell that this relationship is completely different than the one with Ben. Ben was using Charlie for his own gain, but like Nick's just not ready to be out. He's just realized that he's not straight anymore. So he's dealing with a lot, and Charlie understands that and is like, I'm here to help you, and I'm here to help you get through this. And I think that's why, even though the relationship is a secret, it's far more healthier than what he had with Ben. Nick and Charlie's relationship is so wholesome and so cute and so sweet, and I'm so happy that was able to translate from the webtoon into the show, because their relationship is what makes Heartstopper, because it makes you like miss that high school crush feeling, that falling in love for the very first time and being all into someone. It is so beautiful and so cute to read, and I'm so happy it was able to be translated into the show itself. Like, oh, they're so cute. They are so fucking cute. Now, for the rest of the cast, we have Charlie's three best friends, Tao, Isaac, and Elle. First up is Tao, who is also in year 10, and is extremely protective of his friends. Tao, on multiple occasions, has no problem standing up to bullies for his friends. And Tao's the person that don't fight, but he got that mouth on him. And there's one bully in particular that Tao embarrasses every time he starts with him. And I do not understand why Harry keeps trying Tao like that, because every time you do, Tao got you looking stupid. Now, Tao is extremely distrustful of Nick. He genuinely does believe that Nick is just playing Charlie, and he does not want to see his friend get hurt. And this loyalness is great, but Tao also does not want his friends to branch out and be friends with other people, because he thinks they're going to leave him. And we do find out that Tao is afraid of being alone. And I'm very happy that he was able to admit it, that he's scared. And now that he said it, he can work on that, and he needs to understand that like your friends having other friends does not mean you're not friends anymore. And if having other friends does make them not be your friend anymore, they were never your real friends to begin with. Now, moving on to Isaac, that really doesn't play a big role in the show. And I think the reason for that is because he's not in the webtoon. There is no Isaac in the webtoon, so he's not a fully fleshed out, established character that's interweaved with the story. I think because of that, he wasn't a big role this season, but he might play a bigger role in the next season if we get another season. But Isaac is extremely quiet and always got his face in a book. He's just like me, for real. I'm sorry, because that was me in high school. I always read a book. I ain't had time for no one's bullshit, no one's drama. I'm here to read. And that's where me and Isaac see each other. But because he is so quiet, he's also extremely perceptive of his friends and what's going on. And I think he's probably like the first one to actually realize that like Charlie and Nick were having something going on, because he was just able to like look at everything and piece it all together. But there's really not much to say about Isaac. Out of all of the characters, he is the least fleshed out. Elle is in year 11, and she actually used to go to Truman with Charlie, Tao, and Isaac. But because she had transitioned and started being heavily bullied at Truman, and then also dealing with teachers not wanting to call her by her new name, and saying and getting in trouble because her hair was too long and they had like a hair length for the boys, but Elle's a girl, she should be allowed to have long hair. So after dealing with all of that last year, she actually ends up transferring to Higgins, which is the all-girl school. Elle is so sweet, so caring, so friendly, just like a ball of joy. And I really do enjoy the fact that, like, yes, we know that there was bullying that happened last year. In this new school year, Elle is just happy. You know, like, at first she was afraid to open up at her new school, but once she opened up, she fit in well with the other girls and actually became really good friends with two girls in particular, and we're going to get into them a little bit later. But I enjoyed this story of this trans girl just existing. she's not suffering, she's not in pain, she's not going through things. She is just happy, and the people in her life accept her for who she is. And it just warmed my heart that, like, I think her being trans, like, outright was like said twice, and after that, that was it. Elle is a girl who happens to be trans. Her character isn't just trans, if that makes sense. She is fully fleshed out. She is a realized person. She isn't just trans. Trans character A. She is Elle. She is a person, and she is wonderful and amazing. And I'm so excited to see how her and Tal's relationship grows in season 2, because we get the little hints at towards the end of the season that, like, Elle and Tal have a little got little sparks happening around them, and I'm so happy for that. It's adorable in the webtoon, and again, I can't wait to see it on the screen. The next two characters are Tara and Darcy. They are Elle's friends from Higgins, and they're actually dating each other. And they at first were in a secret relationship, and then they decide to come out because they're tired of keeping it a secret. And their experiences are a little bit different, because for Darcy, she's been out for a very long time, and up until this point everyone thought Tara was straight. There's actually moments at the all boys school they talk about, like, how fit and how cute Tara is, and like they don't understand why Nick doesn't want to be with her because she's like one of the hottest girls around, which I love. I really love that for Tara. But coming out was very difficult for her, because she felt like she stopped being Tara and being a person and just started being a lesbian. Like, that's all people cared about. She felt like people treated her differently now, because now she wasn't Tara anymore, she was a lesbian. And you can see towards the end of the season how much she's struggling with being out. Tara and Darcy's relationship is also super cute and super wholesome. I think in the first season of the show, we see more of the relationship than we did in the first book of Heartstopper, and I like that. I think it's because we're spending more time at the all-girls school, so we're getting to see their interactions, and they're cute. I love the way that, like, when Tara is down, Darcy is there to pick her back up, and I really think they balance each other out very well. A lot of the confrontation in this series is from this guy named Harry. He's a rich kid, and he's a bully, and I've never hated a child more than I hate Harry. He has such a punchable face, and I do not understand how he's walked the halls of Truman not getting his ass beat, because he can't fight. From what we've learned, boy don't got no hands. Y'all should be beating him up more frequently. A lot of the main cast of Heartstopper are actually newcomers to acting. Actually, a lot of theirs first acting gig, and it shows sometimes. Sometimes in the main cast, I'm like, oh, this acting is not phenomenal. It's just okay. I feel like it's more like glaringly obvious with some of the side characters. Oh, the side characters can't act to save their fucking lives. Like Imogen, what a terrible actress. She could be a very lovely young lady, but her acting, terrible. Harry, some of the most awkward scenes are with Harry, because it's just like there's just something about his scenes that, like, when he's trying to be a bully, I don't believe him. It's like he's trying to make me believe that he can act, but he's not doing a good job about it. It's ooh, like the main cast I can get past because they're not terrible, right? They're not horrible, but the side characters, they're acting trash. It's painful sometimes seeing like them interact with other characters who are not in the main friend group, because I'm like, oh, this acting real bad, real bad. I do believe that the show definitely kept the spirit of the webtoon throughout it. I think tonally it definitely fits the webtoon. I think this show is going to be super important for young queer kids, which is why I'm not too upset that it's geared toward a younger audience. I do think young queer kids need to see Charlie, Nick, Elle, Tara, and Darcy. I do. I think it's really important to see queer kids, yeah, go through things, but not go through the suffrage that a lot of these other shows are putting their queer characters through. And if we do get a season 2, which I hope we do get season 2, Charlie does go through something, but what he goes through is not attached to his queerness. He is going through something that could happen to any teenager, and I think that's important. And I really, really hope we do get a second season. Regardless, I'm gonna still be reading Heartstopper anyways, but I do hope we get a second season. I do think it's important to have this type of representation for young queer kids. But yeah, that's it for me. I am so sorry about the lawnmower that I'm like 90% sure you can hear. For some reason, my neighbors think yard work should only happen at the hottest points of the day and not early in the morning like normal fucking people. But what are your guys' thoughts and opinions on Heartstopper? What did you love? What did you hate? Was the show the first time you were introduced to the series, or were you a big fan of the webtoon? That's it for me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. I hate my neighbors. Bye, guys.